All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the CSRN Week in Review, our weekly podcast. You know who I am. It's Brother Washington Muhammad, and we got the one and only here. We're going to have this brother introduce himself right after the break. So what we're going to do right now is put a 5-minute timer up. Let's make sure that we got everything, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's see if we can get that. We'll be right back. And let's see if we can kind of did that music. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is the CSRN Week in Review, our weekly podcast where we come and talk to you about the things that we did last week. And last week it was all about Hispanic Heritage Month, and we had a lot of our Latino and Latinx brothers and sisters on, Tony Rios, Beatrice Maya, and the Latino minister of the Nation of Islam from our headquarters in Chicago came on and talked about, hey, what we talk about, which is getting free. But right behind us, you see our sign, Stand with O'Shea, our Olympic heroes. So to the family of our sister O'Shea Jones, much love and respect. And for her next court date, we popping up. We out there, the supporters to support our sister, and right is right. So if Wade Kapsakavich, the mayor, is tuned in, thanks for joining our page, Mayor. Hey, look, take care of our sister. It's our votes that got you there. So, take care of our sister. One of the things that we want to do first is, hey, let me introduce myself. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he and him, and I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, and I'm also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. For those who may be visually impaired, today I have on a white tee with a V-neck. I guess it's kind of cashmere purple sweater just coming from work, so you already know what it is. I've got my brown rimmed glasses on, and as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the headquarters of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. Hey, before I let my brother introduce himself, I'm going to read our mission statement. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with, who it is. Let's find my mission statement, and we're going to get right into it. This is our mission statement of CSRN. We developed this back in 2014, right when we started this journey, all right? And, hey, we ain't took our foot off the gas yet. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive community-based events to help foster self-development and discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice equally applied to all, regardless of creed, class, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That's our brother, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hey, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with our brother. You know who. You already know what it is. Thank you, family, for being with us. This is the CSRN Weekly Podcast. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, family, we are back. CSRN weekly podcast, our weekend review. Man, to my left and to your right, or however it goes there. Hey, brother, I want you to introduce yourself. Step up to the mic. Introduce yourself, who you are, and why should people know about what you've gone through?
Thank you, Brother Brown. First of all, for having me here.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. It's a blessing to be here in more ways than one. My name is Victor Dale. In case you haven't heard about me, I was 2 years ago. I shot at over 20 times right in our backyard over in Oregon, Ohio.
That's right.
Um, it's been a crazy 2 years since then, and I'm just here to let you guys know what's been going on.
All right. Oh, you know what? We should have played. There's a short video that we supposed to have played earlier. Huh. Well, it seemed like we get it? Did we get it? We're trying to look. We have the tech team that no, I don't think we got it. No, I don't think we got it. But all right, 2 years ago, we saw it on the news. Now, when it and you said how many times they shot?
At least 21 times.
All right, and we heard the story. I got a chance to meet you for the first time when myself and other members of CSRN, Julian, we went to Oregon. And I think you said, hey, look, we want to do this at the police station. And I told, people in the community, hey, look, come out to Oregon. Hey, that's far. Oh, man. All right. Look, come out to Oregon. We're going to meet at the police station. Now, most people said, well, is that safe? Well, in the video, you said no place is safe. No place is safe. So we went there. It was pretty much peaceful. We didn't want anybody doing anything else, while we were there. So what's happened for you and your life? What's happened between then and now?
First, let's go back. I left out, of course, if you haven't heard, people that shot at me over 20 times were the Oregon Police Department, two of their young officers in the force. Initially, of course, there were no charges brought up against me.
Right.
The officers went under indictment. However, no charges were formed against them, though they were punished by the review board. I was hit in the neck and in the shoulder, grazed on the knee, suffered nerve damage, which I'm still recovering from, but I'd say I'm making a pretty good recovery, in my position.
Yes, sir.
Since then, I've ended up changing careers. I was in the factory at the time and going through nerve damage, trying to work in the lines just wasn't working out for me.
Right.
But on the bright side, I managed to get back into my customer service background.
Great.
I'm a supervisor in my job currently, raising my daughter. So, taking care of business. I took that setback and just made it a major comeback. About a year from the incident, I was charged. I was indicted for allegedly assaulting the officer that shot at me. They brought up charges of assault and felonious assault. As of a couple of days ago, I was those charges. I was found not guilty of those charges. So finally, I get some closure in the situation, and still pending. I do have a civil case out against Oregon Police Department.
Right, and we support that. All right, we support that 1,000%. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know is the time that you're indicted until the time that they dropped the charges. What was that like, not knowing, not knowing what was going to happen? It could have easily turned the wrong way, right, and you wouldn't be here now. What was it like that whole year or that whole year and a half, not knowing what's going to happen? And how did you manage to keep it together? Because we didn't hear anything about you in the news. All right. So I'm like, that's what's up. All right. That's really. So what was it like that year of not knowing?
I mean, I'll tell you what, I found out about the indictment. It was right around June. I believe it
Okay.
was like right after Father's Day, right around my daughter's birthday, get the news about the indictment. So, a year from the day, thinking I can finally, try to heal, try to get some justice for the
Yeah.
situation, things start looking the other direction. Obviously, I was facing 10 to 12 years if found guilty of the charges.
And they would have gave you every one of them. All right. They would have gave you every one of them.
So, I mean, obviously, I had a great attorney. Shout out to Joe. You're awesome. You did your thing, and he just really brought the facts to light. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, the video is out there. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
So you can see everything act out from both officers' videos. So, really, the jury just, watched that, and they all, even afterwards, were just very kind of, apologetic and kind of just sympathetic to what happened. You know what I mean? So it seemed like they really understood, and that was really enlightening for me to see, because you don't necessarily expect that from a jury of what they call your peers.
True.
But for that year of just again going up against the system, you know what I mean, going up against the police department of Oregon, for example.
That's right.
You just never can really be comfortable expecting a positive outcome because it's not often done. So just to have that type of reaction from the jury even afterwards, and to just come out of this thing, like you said, keep my head down low, go to work every day, take care of my kids, stay out of trouble. I just do what I'm supposed to do, and I really I'm thankful that the truth really did set me free in this situation.
All right. What I want to do, I want to get back to, there's a couple of other questions that we wanted to ask you today, but I'm going to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to ask about family support. I think I just saw your little daughter outside the studio. All right. So he is about what he's about because his daughter is here. All right. So I want to ask you about family support and what did you do to really keep it all together? All right. And when we come back. So family, this is the CSRN Week in Review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober, safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Week in Review. Hey, listen, we're here with our brother Victor Dale Jr. If you don't know, now you know. And we're here to talk about his experience being shot at 20 times by the Oregon Police Department, Chief Navarre and his staff, and the process that he had to go through from being indicted and all the things that come from being indicted, the feelings of not knowing, the anxiety, possible depression, to being right here in the studio, daughter outside checking out some books. All right. Hey, before we talk to him about how did he stay balanced, which is a miracle, and a lot of us lose it in between the time being indicted and getting off. You didn't know you could have got off, but we committed another crime. or we thought that things weren't going to go well. So I got to go somehow. No, you don't. But before we do that, I want to bring on a special brother, family. A few weeks ago, we were having our brother Omar Gent on. He will call in from Colorado State Penitentiary and give us the rundown, Vic, of what's happening behind prison bars. And it's kind of unique to hear our brothers in real time while they're there. Normally, you will get a letter from them or you hear from them once they get out. So let me bring our brother on right now. All right, brother Omar, how you feeling, brother?
Real good. Peace, my brother.
All right, peace. Hey, listen, this is our brother. I was talking to brother Omar about you earlier. Being shot at 20 times, being hit 3, and going through everything that you went through in the media, because most times people already paint us guilty. All right. They could shoot us 20 times and we'll still be saying, what did he do? All right. He got shot 20 times. That's what he did. Not making light of it, but you know how we roll. All right. And this is our brother Omar Gent. Well, I'm not going to introduce him. Brother, could you introduce yourself and why we should know how to support our brothers and sisters while they're still incarcerated or confined citizens?
All right. All praises due to the Creator, and thank you all for this beautiful platform. First and foremost, my name is Omar Jen. I was in Sterling Correctional Facility. I recently released, maybe a little bit over a week ago.
Yes, sir.
All praises due. I'm standing strong, and it's very important for the brothers and sisters, out there to support us, because as your co-host right now, you're explaining his story, and it's let us know how America is a prison. You know what I'm saying? I salute that brother for coming on and telling his story, and because most of the time, I understand why so many people are traumatized and they go through the things of the media being indicted.
Yeah.
They have difficulty speaking up and standing up because of the trauma of it. So I salute the brother next to you by staying strong, and I salute you for bringing them on there. And it's very important for people to support us, because it's nobody telling these stories what's going on the inside. So we need that help.
All right. Man, how long were you incarcerated, and what did you do to get through? All right. How did you make it? A lot of us aren't making it, Vic. All right. And some of us come out and we'll glorify that experience and entice our young people to duplicate, our stupidity. How long were you incarcerated, and what did you do to keep balance while you were there?
Well, not to be too philosophical, but I was incarcerated, even before I got here on this planet. This experience of Black people in America. But 14 years I was down. Feels good to be out to another level of freedom. It's not full freedom, but I'm here. And it's very important for me to tell the story, because brothers like yourself helped me to stay focused. The Final Call newspaper helped to inspire me, break down all this miseducation and this frustration and this potential depression and anger and rage. Reading that paper, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, his teachings, Elijah Muhammad, his teachings, reading so many things like that helped to me to stay focused, stay strong, and help to articulate myself better, the grace of the Creator.
Well, I want to say that you definitely inspire a lot of us that are out here, even though you were incarcerated. And I think that we have been corresponding for maybe the last 4 or 5 years.
Yes, sir.
And every time, even when you would call us and we would listen to you on the phone around the table, because we didn't have this technology in 2018 and 2017, or if it was, we didn't have a reason to communicate like this. And brother, we would sit around in a room. There may have been 10, 15, or 20 of us, and my phone would ring. My ringtone then was Mobb Deep, but I had to change it because every time my phone rang, we would get muted because I don't own the copyrights. Mobb Deep, so shout out Prodigy and brother that rapped with him. But I wanted to say that you inspired so many people in the movement to stay balanced, to be patient, to know that this is this is a protracted struggle, meaning that it's not going to end today. So you better be in this for the long haul. And I just wanted you to know that. And it's awesome to see you because we heard your voice. I want to also talk about your website. Let's put it on the screen. Your website, freeourbrothers.com. How is it that somebody that's so-called incarcerated would put together a website to help other people when it seemed like you should be focusing on yourself? How did that happen?
Well, that's a good question. As I'm processing it, I would say when you said myself, if I see myself in others, like the brother sitting right next to you, prime example. He was out there in the streets, and he was brutalized by active violence.
Yes, sir.
FreeOurBrothers.com explains the state violence, corrupt judges, prosecutors railroading us to prison with no indictment. And here he was on the other side, unjustly persecuted and violence executed upon him, and they indicted him, So I like to look at contrast like that. You're indicting this brother for your violence, the brother sitting next to you for no reason, because you want to cover yourself. And as FreeOurBrothers.com explains that it's a whole state system railroading people to prison. I'm one of the many, but I had to create that website to bring the truth to the public. So I'm asking the people, please get behind it.
All right. My next question for you, family support. One of the things that people really don't see, we know about the time, people might know about the time that you did, but what type of family support did you have while you were there that helped?
Well, you're an example of the family support. I consider everybody in your team part of my family, and I appreciate everything you've been doing, helping keep me balanced and keep my humanity to be able to see outside of this that circle of incarceration. Also, my wonderful fiance in my life, beautiful original woman. I learned when you're getting out how much you affected by the time that you spent in. So yesterday I had a test, and I really had to ask Allah to help me emotionally center myself, to deal with my own emotions and to deal with her. But she's been a big supporter of the movement and everything I do. I got here, man. She sent a laptop, cell phone, clothes, groceries, everything. I mean, I got so much stuff I had to put in the locker and be like, don't send no more. But that wonderful original woman, and I appreciate her and my family as well, my brothers and sisters. My brother created this website, my sister as well. So without them, my father, he was once on your show. Without them, I wouldn't have much of an outlet to the community. So, and everybody who's listening to this me knowing, for so long, each and every day, that it was people actually listening and being inspired, that kept me centered, focused, and this waiting to next Tuesday, and it's excited to be able to talk to you again, brother.
Right, and one of the nuances is this week. Normally, Vic, when he calls, we get that jail recording. You
Yeah. I don't miss that. You have 60 seconds left.
My mom has heard that. Everybody that in my family pretty much heard that
that made it real. I'll let you know you was dealing with the brother on the inside. 60 seconds left. He got 20 seconds. That's all 20 minutes. That's all he get. No more, no less.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's so beautiful to not only hear you, but see you. I want to talk just about your dad. Last time we talked, I found out that he was a Heats fan. So tell him I'll tell him in advance. Sorry for your loss. All right. Let him know I said that. All right. And I don't want none of the smoke from him, but just tell him I said that. How's he doing? And how's he taking this phase of your life coming out and trying to get your footing back?
Well, when I first called him on my cell phone, I can hear that he was very excited and like a lot of weight is off his shoulders, and he's very happy to reconnect with me, just to know I was on the other side of the fence, and just a beautiful thing is to hear in people's voices that how excited, it seemed like they're more excited than me, It was just like, hey, it's just a beautiful thing. He's very excited and happy to know that I'm here and just to have the opportunity to get my self-determination back, my brother.
Now, and trust me, all of us are happy to have you here. I wanted to ask Vic while he's here, and then I'm going to ask you a similar question. Between the time that Vic you were indicted and the time that they dropped the indictment, how did you keep yourself balanced? I mean, every day we didn't see you in the paper or wilding out. We didn't see you in the paper for, just can't take it. So, you broke down and did something. Man, how did you manage? And if you, for those that are going to stream this later, some of the tips that you're going to hear from Vic, and we're going to pose the same question to Brother Omar. How did he stay balanced? So maybe those of us who may not have the problems that Vic had. See, in 2020, I didn't have that problem, but I'm still whining and crying about stuff. Man, we a mess, man. Omar, we a mess. We'll still be complaining. My socks don't match my belt. That's our biggest problem, man. So how did you manage and stay balanced from 2020 to 2022? What did you do? How did that happen?
Well, honestly, it was a couple things. For one, I am a full-time dad, so my daughter being my motivation was, you can't ignore that. You can't. It's never out of mind, even if she's away from you on the weekend.
Man,
I know I'm living my life to serve that purpose as being her father. So just making sure that I'm keeping my hands clean. That I'm providing for her. Again, keeping a steady job, steady income. She grows like a tree, so getting her everything that she needs.
that's right.
Obviously, I came from a strong background, a strong upbringing. My mother, was an angel. Bless
Beautiful.
her soul. You know what I mean. So she left this world with from breast cancer back in 2002. But she just raised me a certain way to be strong, to be independent, to really think for yourself, and kind of lead your own path. Always be a leader, not a follower. And with that, my dad has always been a hardworking person who's always just
Yes,
pushing me to,
sir.
do the right thing, take care of myself, be a good person, be a good man, take care of others, as he's often, done his whole life. So, and he married a wonderful woman, my stepmother, who really became like a grandmother, if not a second mom to my daughter. So,
Yes, sir.
with that support system, my brother, my sisters, they've all, really come around us and really, just help to keep us focused on, what's out here, what you have for, what you have to thrive for, what you have to work for, and you just you got to learn how to move in some sense in our city. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
things happen. Obviously, it's football games nowadays.
right.
Some things sometimes it's just unavoidable. But I felt like, especially being under that indictment, it was really keeping my head low.
Mhm.
Not frequenting the bars, obviously, not frequenting areas where I know there's going to be drama, people doing things that the law wouldn't frown upon.
Yeah,
So just staying where the light is.
right. And even though you're not under indictment, crazy stuff is still happening in those places. All right.
Right.
So, and I'm glad that you talked about what you value, and you put your daughter first. I'm glad that you talked about what you value, and you value all the things that your mom had taught you, and she's still teaching. She's still alive. All right. Some of us don't perceive it, but we're still grasping some of those lessons now that we're mature enough to understand them. So, and my mom had passed, I think, last year, And I looked at it as I inherited um, uh, billions of her spirit. All right. So most times when somebody passed, if they didn't leave us a whole bunch of money, then we're sad. Now, if my dad was a millionaire, and if he left me 10 million, I'm head straight to Ben Devers. All right. And we're gonna be happy all every day. Put a picture on his mantle. But when our parents leave, they do leave us something. All the lessons. Now we're mature enough to say, okay, now I know. All right, now I know. So, and also you talked about valuing family, and I think that that's something that a lot of us may miss, valuing relationships instead of valuing things, a phone, a car, my shoes. Well, those things come and go, and I might place more value in my drip than my family. And what happens after it goes out of style? But I done shaded all my family, and lost them. So thanks for sharing that. Hey, brother Omar, when we talk about um, how you made it, I know you talked a bit about it earlier, but what did you do to stay balanced for 14 years? That's a long time. I'm a former confined citizen, but I didn't do 14 years. I did enough to make me act right. All right. I did enough to make me act right, turn me into Brother Washington. All right. All right. All right. I ain't tell him thank you, but hey, all right. There's some blessings in those lessons if we only perceive. Um, what about you? How did you hold it together? And what were some of the challenges that you came up against year after year?
Well, and, as a nation teaches, the woman is the second self of God, So I was listening to both of your stories about, losing your mother, and I lost my mother as well. So we all have that in common, and my condolences. Lessons she taught me,
Yeah.
stuck with me, about this persistent, being aware of yourself, being aware of your people, your responsibility. Salute Brother Vic for just being there for his daughter, because you see so many men in our community at times. I'm saying all the men are doing it, just get caught up in trauma or violence,
Right.
which is the same thing, and they forget the responsibility. So salute, brother, and this a lot of things I was dealing with, the effect of being isolated, feeling like, sometimes I was the only black guy in Nebraska, just
Sure.
being away from the community, and feeling like I really had to go inside of myself, because a lot of my thoughts, ideas of black unity, black awareness, just being positive, was like I was talking, French, so
Yeah.
a lot of people, I was seen as an oddity, but those books, man, looking at the book autobiography of Malcolm X, the Final Call newspaper, just reading Geronimo Pratt, Sada Shakur, just creating my own world of warriors. Like you say, that legacy is passed down. And man, I wouldn't want 10 million, but I want those 10 million lessons, because you see a lot of cowards and coward millionaires nowadays, who can't speak, can't stand up, and not to judge nobody, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of things I experienced is just the impact of isolation, uh, dealing with the frustration within oneself. How do you stay centered when you want to react to people's ignorance? You know, as you know, brother, our people are other than ourselves, and you got other people who are just, sent to take you off your path. But when I realized that I have to be, through the grace of Allah, in control of me and my emotions, then through the grace of Allah, I can conquer anything.
All right. Hey, listen, I got to take a short break. And when I come back, I want to ask the question to not only you, Brother Omar, but also Vic. After you've gone through everything that you've gone through, why do you feel that you need to tell your story? Just like you, Brother Omar, you're here. Why do because you could easily just fade into the shadows. All right. Brother Omar, you could easily come out and say absolutely nothing. So I want to process that question with you. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to play a short video. This is an organization, Brother Omar in Toledo. It's called Brothers United. Our sister Avis Files. This is a dynamite sister. Just because it's Brothers United and she's the head of it, don't get it twisted. This sister is for us. So let's take a short break. We'll be coming right back. This is CSRN Week in Review podcast. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man.
All right, we are back. Hey, got to get my microphone. All right, we're back. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast. I've got today, this is a special podcast that we have with our brother Victor Dale Jr., and we have our recently released brother Omar Gent from freeourbrothers.com, whom you've heard his voice. Now you can match his face with his voice, which you don't look like you sound, but hey, it's all good. You still be on the team, all right, regardless. But I don't know if I'm the only one that's told you that, but pretty soon you'll hear it. It's all good. All right. I don't know what we got we got trying to visualize what a man gonna be looking like. All right. Let me go ahead and shut that down. All right. I'll go ahead and shut that down right now. Hey, look, we are back. We got our brother Victor Dale Jr., who you've know from 2020, 2021, shot at 20 times by Oregon Police Department, and that's Chief Navarre, former chief of Toledo Police. All right, so we used to get at him when he was at TPD. So we was at him on his heels for Oregon too, and we're going to stay there. And you also have some ongoing things going on right now, afterward. So we're going to be seeking justice. It's still justice for Victor Dale. We had the signs up. We even put the cups in some of the fences downtown. They were taking those down. All right. But it's all good. We come back tomorrow and put some more up there. And also we have our brother Omar Gent from Colorado. I said Colorado State Penitentiary, but what should I be saying?
Man, it's hey, Colorado prison system, Sterling Prison.
All right. Whatever. We still throwing rocks at it.
Yes, sir.
At it anyway. All right. I wanted to ask this question. You've got freeourbrothers.com. Victor Dale Jr. is out here telling his story. What made you, I'm going to start with you, Brother Omar. What made you even want to take this on, even though you could get a lot of backlash from this, from people who don't understand our life? What made you realize that, hey, look, this is what I want to do? How did that happen?
Oh, once I started just thinking about my own experience, and the phrase always stuck with me. That Brother Malcolm used to quote, "The man don't stand for something, he'll fall for anything." So once I realized that I had to tell the story, not just my story, not just about black males or Omar Gent. This is about children. This is about women. This is about gay, straight. This is about Hispanic, Native Americans. If you're a human being, it's about you, even people from other states, because the system goes and kidnap people from other states and different parts of the world. So once I started thinking about how I can just sit and be quiet, which I've never been able to do when someone done me wrong. I was the one to retaliate violently. That's what my environment was based on. Delray Beach, 561. It was a real violent area. So when I said, what can I do to retaliate against the violence? Because I used to go to the hole all the time. Everybody say I was an FOI by myself, but I was a wild FOI because I wasn't disciplined. I'll be the first one on the scene. Yes, checking the white supremacists. Look up, I'm the only one in the hole, and everybody else amped me up. And I said, hold up now. Every time I go to the hole, I'm losing my stuff. I'm losing. Things are coming up missing. I'm losing good time. Now, let me get smarter with my approach.
Yes,
so
sir.
Let me study the law. Let me put things down, articulate myself, because you can't win that way. You're going to end up either getting yourself killed or killing one of them, which is the same thing. So let me heal myself first and foremost and reach out to others. And that's what freeourbrothers.com came from.
Right. And from my experience going to the hole, no one ever went to the hole with me. It was always just me.
Yes, sir.
But everyone loves to watch I was Mac McGee. At that time, I was known as Mac McGee. But everybody loves seeing Mac McGee go to the hole. All right.
Yeah.
And if I had some if I had some contraband commissary, that was gone when I got
Yeah,
back.
it was gone. You best believe that.
Just like the streets. All right. Yeah. Look, I just figured that out. Years later, I'm just figuring stuff out. So hey, thanks for saying that. And we're benefiting off of you striving to do more. And also before we get to Victor, um, even though on your website it says stop illegal imprisonment in Colorado, what you're doing now is not just confined to the state of Colorado. Am I right?
No, sir. I was hooking up with an activist, Brother Michael Washington. He told me this. It didn't surprise me, but he told me the same thing is going on in Oklahoma, and so it's just all over the country, you know. Yes, sir.
All right, man. You talking about Oklahoma? I'm like, hey, I was there. They may know me from El Reno, but I ain't gonna put all my business out there. But man, so let me talk to Victor, and thank you, brother Omar, and hang tight. We've got some other things that's coming up, and hopefully we've got our brother Jody Summers that's going to come on and give it what we call our tying up some loose ends, some community shout outs and solutions, and also give us our 5 minutes of heat. And what that is, brother Omar, when we used to meet in person, I never wanted to follow those Robert rules where we adjourn like our former slave masters and their children. We wanted to add some soul to it. So when we close out with some creative expression. And Jody had linked up with us, I think, in 2014. We didn't know that he was a poet. We didn't know that he was a soon-to-be author. We didn't know that he was a chef. We didn't know that he also owned. He was an elected political person. Because if you look at him, you would think, who's this guy? He don't have a suit on. All right, he ain't shaved up, and his head ain't bald like mine. But you know what? We prejudge people based on how they look. All right. So this brother's just an artistic genius, and hopefully he'll be on hopefully within the next few minutes. So my question to you, Victor, why do you think that you need to speak out, not only coming on this podcast, but in other places? What made you realize that, hey, look, I want to get this word out, and I follow you on Facebook. Hey, you got a sense of humor too. All right. So if I want to find something deep, I'll go on this page. Yeah, that's deep. If I want to find something funny, yeah, that's funny. So one-stop shop for Phoenix Rising, and I wanted after that I got that down. How did you come up with that name? But first, how did you what made you realize that you wanted to speak up and speak out?
It was almost like I felt like I'd been silent too long, to be honest with you. You know,
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
if you grow up in our skin, then you know what's out there, you know what the world entails. As Brother Omar said, we know it's a prison even outside of prison,
Man,
but
that's
often
deep.
enough we kind of turn the blind eye to it
I think that's going to be my next Facebook post, and I'm going to act like I made it up myself. Yes, sir.
I mean, I felt like I had just been out the fight, personally for too long. And going back to my high school days, I was all class president, this, that, and the other. But this fight is more personal. It's been a longer fight, and more, this is the fight that our ancestors have fought. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's up to us to pick up, get on the front lines, protest, but also organize,
Yeah,
get in the meetings downtown, the city hall meetings, and actually speak for what we need. So going through what I went through, I feel like if I don't speak up, they win. You know what
that's
I mean?
right.
Regardless, like if I don't speak up and also put truth to the matter,
That's right.
then it's like nothing ever happened, and we can't keep letting things happen in our community and not addressing them and not asking for accountability.
That's right. That's right. Now, in 2020 on Facebook, you were Victor Dale. All right. All right. And I think a lot of people at one point confused your dad with you and you with your dad. All right. 'Cause I thought, Hey, Victor Dale. No, not Victor Dale. Victor Dale Jr. All right. Okay. All right. Um, now we see you as Phoenix Rising. And I had to, it takes me a while to process stuff. All right. Cause I didn't know. I thought you, all right. So how did that come about?
Well, honestly, originally, I was first off, I was locked out of my Facebook because after I got shot out by Oregon police,
Yeah.
my phone was kept in evidence in my car.
Oh, wow.
So I can't recall if I ever got that phone back, but for the first year, I never got that phone back. So I was locked out of my Facebook account. So I went back
Oh,
to an old, which began as kind of the lyrics page. I'm a bit of a poet myself, actually.
oh,
So
okay.
it was
Oh,
a
all right.
lyrics page originally, and since it was my only other Facebook, and how hard it is to open and start accounts with Facebook, at least for me.
Yeah.
So I just, I had that email available. I started on that page, and but also the name itself really came from. I always was kind of fond of, mythology, for example, but also the idea of the phoenix. It rose from the ashes. You know what I mean? So it's something, new life created from devastation. So that was always kind of personal to me, especially after my mother and things in my childhood and my youth. But especially after now, it just felt like it fit. You know what I mean? I'm kind of
Wow.
reborn after, almost perishing at the hands of the Oregon Police Department.
All right. So, for everybody out there that didn't hear from Victor for maybe over a year, nope, he wasn't scared. All right. So, Julian, you owe me $5. All right. You owe me $5. He wasn't scared to death. His phone was part of evidence, and your car was part of evidence. So, we didn't hear from him because he didn't have his phone. All right, and he wasn't able to get back into his Facebook page. So when you see that name on Facebook, Phoenix Rising, um, follow him on Facebook. Whenever he's here, I like to have you come back and start doing some co-hosting, just to see your observation on current events and some of the ways that things needed to go. Hey, listen, I'm going to take a short I'm a quick shift. Brother Omar, we have also my other comrade, Jody Summers, child of the system, spoken truth. He just come into the green room. And one of the etiquettes of StreamYard is in this, listen, stay in one place. Jody likes to move around. All right, come on, Jody. Man, you let them know how cheap my system is. All right, come on. Hey, listen, let me bring Jody in. Hey, what's up, Jody?
I heard you. I didn't hear you, and I guess I'm on camera right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I hope you
Just see
somewhere
somebody in the
stationary.
studio with my hat on.
All right, that's what's up. Hey, listen, Jody, for everybody that's here, could you introduce yourself? Oh, yeah, get your angles. There you go. Okay. Oh, that don't look like work. That look like okay. All right. Let me stop trying to drop your location on. All right, in real time. All right. So, Jody, I have with me brother Omar. All
Salute.
right. Yes, sir. And this is our first time. Brother Omar has been on our podcast with the visual, not just
Right. I always hear your voice.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
now you can see what we look like too.
Yeah, that's a disappointment. But anyway, I said I was going to keep it serious because we got Victor Dale and Omar Gent. We're going to keep it serious. Hey,
I feel
listen.
bad. I should go get my hat now.
Okay, all right. Hey, listen, Jody. If you could introduce yourself, we're coming up on that 7 o'clock hour when we start to wind it down. Could you introduce yourself? What's your position with us? And brother, why do you keep showing up for the battle every day, every week?
So what's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization that has continued to go on no matter what happens in society for nearly 8 years now, because I believe that if you have a voice, you should not be silenced in any aspect, no matter whether it's your work life, your mental health, any injustice that's been committed against you, or even helping people gain knowledge. If you're willing to be quiet about anything, you should get out of my way.
Okay. All right. Tell us how you
Um,
feel.
For those of you that might be listening on Spotify or YouTube or even on Facebook, if you're driving, I would prefer that you listen instead of trying to look at your screen.
That's right.
I am a big black brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and bones and stones and some of the stuff you can't see right now because I'm at my taxable where I live and poke out here for a little bit. And travels from where I've been as an author, poet, illustrator, filmmaker, civil servant, elected official, just all around person that loves his community. I keep these pieces, these tattoos and stuff with me as a reminder when I'm up on stages, whether it be anywhere in the world, I am never alone. I always have my family or some representation of my family with me.
All right, beautiful. Hey, listen, we were going to shift to community shout outs and solutions. And we always see you out in the community. I saw you upload some of the video of Zombie Crawl and some other things that's going on. What are some of the things that you think that we need to be conscious of or aware of that's coming up or that's already happened?
As I've been telling people in person and in public, I love the stuff I do with the arts and everything like that stuff. But right now, at least locally, I can't separate my mind to deal with federal or national or state issues. But locally, I'm politics. Not only being an elected official, I'm also an election official. So which means that time where you're going to vote, I'm there. We're actually there before the day before. What most people don't know, it is a limited pool of people that do this type of work. Shout out to you, Brother Washington, as well, because it's somewhat of a sacrifice. While other people are avoiding voting or doing something else, we're there for 14 hours the day of, and then the day before, we're there to set up, and we see the process, the numbers, the turnout. And even though we can't at our tables as officials influence the process, we're just there to help you vote. I could do it now by saying, vote no on issue 21 that's here locally. It's a scam, it's a sham, because if it was really for the people, you would have brought it to a town hall. But make sure you vote on the metro parks, make sure you vote on the library. Check out the officials that are running for office. Are they only around during election time, or do you see them in your community when it's not their turn?
Right. And we had talked about this maybe a couple of weeks ago. We're going to have our brother Elgin Rogers, who we're going to have him who's running for state representative. We're going to have him in the studio next week. And big shout out to Elgin to be able to come in this space where some people might say, well, Brother Washington, what are you guys going to talk about? We're going to talk about your platform. Well, let me check my schedule. Okay. All right. If you're scared, you're scared. But this is where you come to get your voice to our people. Yep. All right. Well, and everybody knows, they know how we get down. And go ahead.
I keep trying to interrupt.
All right.
All right.
So big shout out to Elgin, whom I've utilized for some of our town halls and our forums. I would run our questions by him because his brother's very eloquent. He's very intelligent when it comes to that. So if I have a question before we clear it, run it by Elgin. Let him see if this is an appropriate question, and he'll reword it. He'll send it back to me, and we'll ask the candidates. So they might think that we're genius. Well, I'm a genius because I know what I don't know, and I know people brighter than I am. So I'm glad that Brother Elgin is going to be back next week. Also, I wanted to ask you this, Jody, and I've asked everybody else this. Why do you feel the need to continue to show up every day when you could easily just fade out? You already got a lot of stuff that you're doing. Why do you feel the need to keep showing up?
Because there was nobody like me that looked like me as a kid growing up. I mean, that's my simplest answer for doing anything. As
Okay.
a kid, we always have those questions. Who was your heroes and all of that? I had people that inspired me and I liked, but nobody looked like me or talked like me or came from my background. It was always these people that was in middle suburbia or whatever telling me what the hood was supposed to look like or how it felt while I lived it. So in the process of everything I do, I live in the hood. For those of you locally, that's the Weilers, where there's been like 4 murders in the past couple months. But I see that. I'm not condemning those people that live there. It's the people that come and enter places that are really the big problems. Even with like the high school football shooting, it wasn't the people that lived in that area. It was an outside force, we'll say, of the universe that you really can't control with politics and marketing and telling people that they should be afraid of their neighbors instead of actually communicating to get to know them.
All right. Now we're at Mott Brent's library where we stream this live, and we have your books are here. All right. They have a, a really nice arrangement of his books that he actually wrote here. My question to you before we get into shameless plug for your books. All right. How do you see arts and culture and the movement working together?
Mm. A year ago, I could have told you well. Now, I could see it as more exploitative. Unfortunately, I don't watch TV. I don't read the newspaper, and the few glimpses that I do get from whether it be at work or at some community event, I don't know. I literally saw some artists in Trina combined for something about "Get Out the Vote," which was something like Chirac did, but way worse. It seems to be getting, even with social media and this platform that we're on that is now Meta, monetized. It's pay to play like they did with video games. You want to
Okay.
connect to your friends, boost your post. You want to be heard, you have to get licensed and do this. And oh, you created some art, let's have half of your blood money.
Okay.
I'm very different in that sense, but I do get it. The exposure of today and social media versus what it was, all the, I guess, people that we go and see in museums, the people whose paintings sell for millions of dollars, most of them, not all of them, never sold nothing in their lifetime. So I'm blessed to be a part of a culture that is
Right.
at least trying to engage with the artist versus telling them they have to fit in somebody's specific box.
That's beautiful. Hey, listen, before we get to 5 minutes of heat, I'm going to ask Brother Omar, I'm going to ask Victor, um, if you have something that you would like to say. I'm going to start with you, Victor, if you don't mind.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Love the dancer.
Okay. If you could say, what would you like the public to know about you that they may not know just from watching the headlines? Because most of us have pretty much judged you when most people saw the headlines. All right. What would you like them to know that they may not know about you?
Really big to me is the fact that they tried to come out with this domestic violence story that I was assaulting my daughter's mom, which she obviously disputed, but they still tried to make that narrative.
Yeah.
I never put hands on my daughter's mom, and she said multiple times I never in my life assaulted any woman, and I was raised by a woman, so I can never put my hands on a woman.
Beautiful.
Beyond that, obviously as the jury, ruled, I was in my right to leave. So
That's
none of
right.
that should have ever played out. To be honest with
That's
you,
right.
bullets shouldn't have got to flying. I stayed even the time I stayed just as a courtesy, but I was well within my right to leave, not being under arrest or being detained. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? So know your rights. Don't ever let anybody intimidate you from, uh, you know, playing out your rights. And you know what I mean? Just as long as you know what's up, don't ever let anybody tell you something different. Because we do have constitutional God-given rights that each individual is supposed to be able to live by. And beyond that, one little thing I want to go back to. Shout out to my brother Edward Dixon. When we talk about everything that I went through over the past couple of years,
Yes, sir.
that's my main boy, and I feel like when you're going through trauma, nothing's more important than having like a true, especially for us men, a brother you can lean on. And I feel like if you don't have that in your life, you need to get one. So shout out to my brother Ed. Much love.
All right, Ed. All right, all right, all right. Thank you, brother. Hey, brother Omar, if you could say anything to the families of those of us that are confined citizens, what would you say to them that they need to know, if you don't mind, brother?
Well, on that new Facebook page I created, brother, I'm so new to the game, I can't even tell you what what the Facebook page is at. The one you was messaging me on, the brand new one, I put
Yes,
some
sir.
posts up there. I was touching on just the ability to of the families to help prisoners deal with different emotional ups and downs of being incarcerated. Like you always touch on self care as family members on the other side of the wall. You have to make sure you are right before you deal with the high stress of the prison environment. Um, I'm realizing more and more as I deal with people outside of the walls as I'm making this process that sometimes being in prison, it crosses over. You get a little bit of tunnel vision. And it was hard for me to admit. So I had a conversation yesterday because I was so focused on certain things about my case manager and how she set me up for failure. And, that led to an argument with one of my loved ones. And I was trying to be in control of me, but I lost a little bit of control, to be honest with everybody.
Yeah.
But you see that there's a lot of emotional things inside of a person that because prison forces you to cut things off your emotions a lot of times and the more human side of you. So to unpack that all, the best thing you can do for your loved one is to sometimes just listen, um, just be that emotional safe spot for them. Realize that you may hear a lot of things that may anger you, frustrate you, but sometimes they just need that cushion, someone to just listen to them and to help maybe later in a conversation, maybe 2 days later, 3 days later,
That's right.
to guide them, feed them a little bit at a time, And I'm realizing that a brother like me, I'm a strong-willed brother, and the hardest thing is to get outside of that. I don't know if it's pride or ego or just what I was going through. I think it's a little bit of all, to be honest. So, hey, pray for me. I'm trying to get more humility. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And one of the things for us that have done time is to be able to have a debriefing. All right. To be able to get back in step with our family and in the minds and emotions. So let's continue doing that. And if it's humility, yes. If it's being able to rise above emotion, yes. Even if it's to think 10 times before you say something, or the ability to not say something. All right. Hey, at one point we gotta dial it back. We gotta flip that switch off because you're not in Kansas anymore. All right. All right. Uh, hey, this before we bring Jody on with 5 minutes of heat, what I didn't say today was our Nguzu Saba word of the day. The Nguzu Saba, that's 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And our word today is Imani, and that's faith. And that's to believe with all of our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. We stand on that. And be it the will of the universe, this year we will be having Kwanzaa at the Frederick Douglass Community Center, and that's February, December 26th, January 1st. And before we go, hey, listen, if you like what we do, subscribe to our YouTube, like it, share it, make a comment. If you like what we do, support us. On Instagram. You can check us out on Facebook. We're going to load this up. Come on, Ruth, load it up right after on Spotify. Check out our YouTube channel. That's where we really need the most activity. And follow us on Twitter. If you want to support what we do, support us via Cash App. That's #, CSRN 419. And Omar said, hey, I got to get a cash out. Bro, you just got out.
Yeah. I need it.
Not like you know more than I do. All right. And if you want to support us via PayPal, that's CSRN 419. And our our YouTube is Community Solidarity Response Network. We need more likes. We need more subscribers. We need more followers there because soon we're going to have to take this message to the next level. So, hey, we're starting from the bottom, but pretty soon we'll be where we're supposed to be. Jody, we're going to kind of bring this to a close right now because they're looking at us funny in the library. I think I saw somebody click the light on and off. I don't know how they go do that in the Black community. Like we know what that means. Could you, we have 5 minutes of heat. What are you going to share with us today, brother?
Well, first, I got some community shout outs. As everyone knows, October is Domestic Violence Month. So I'm going to shout it this Saturday. I actually went to several. So I want to give a huge shout out to Rochelle Morshaw. And she owns like several dozen companies like me, Teach to Fit and stuff. But she had her annual Domestic Violence March. And I was a part of that to be, again, as I tell people when I go into these rooms, because this is the subject and the matters of my books, it's been almost a decade. People still ask. When I go into these rooms, I always have to front load my conversation because I look like the attacker. So I'm normally, if not the only, close to being the only male in these safe spaces. So shout out to her. Thank you for letting me be part of the march and all of the other previous years that we've known each other for book bag giveaways and stuff like that. Shout out to Art on the Market, which is a beautiful space for creators that's actually just down the road from Paco's. I went there for a friend of mine for their Teresa Costella and it's not Sunshine, Clowns and Kings, Queens and Queens, but they just had their grand opening ribbon cutting there. So I went there, saw them. A friend of mine, Jim Zaleski, he gave me some art. I bought some crystals. I bought a warmer from her, from Teresa, and got some melt. So that was awesome. From there, I want to give a shout out. There's a lot of things I did Saturday to the Art Museum. They brought back their block party. They had the feature of DJ Jazzy Jeff, and I saw all of the core DJs. A couple of them did have some stuff to do, but I saw all of them get together and learn from someone in their field. It was a very nice turnout. Just a little bit of everybody there. Indian dancers. At the time I was there, because I spent about a couple of hours over there, took some photos. You'll see that on my page very soon. And then from there, I went to Forest Mission, which shout out to Amit Peace Behringer, India Love, Liv Hightower, Lena Banks. There was another one, A. Renee, who was a new poet, and what kind of new? And Autumn Automatic. She was also one of the performers, and I was one of the performers for this for Chorus Mission. For domestic violence. We had it at Latins Hall, which was a great location. It's a little tucked away spot on the south end. I guess that's kind of south, but it's kind of really close over by Believer, the Imagination Center, Believe Center. That's what it is. Because shout out to Tonya Duran. It's always funny to walk through life and people come up and tackle hug you. But I've gotten used to it a little bit more. So shout out to all of those people and anybody else that did anything during that day. I know there were a couple of more things for domestic violence or anybody else in the community that did some other stuff. Because I know we were trying to have a Scott Libby game for the Kitchen for the Poor, but unfortunately we couldn't find no police to want to help secure the event. But still, shout out to Charlie Hampton for trying to do that for the community.
All right.
So 5 minutes of heat is going to be like last week. So pick a number 3 through 70. 71.
All right. Let's have Omar pick since he's this is his first time, all right, being with us. So Omar, a number between What and what?
3 and 71.
A number between 3 and 71.
3.
All right. Okay. 3.
All righty. So this is the opener of the book, so you guys kind of get a spoiler because tomorrow I get ready to do all the shots and stuff for the unveiling and box opening for Saturday and the soft opening. But he picked 3, so this is where the first story starts, and this is the book. Shameless plug, Childhood Trauma Series. If you have problems with mental health, accountability, loving yourself, you like poems about activism, about politics, about heartbreak, about breaking generational chains, if you like artwork, if you like haikus or blues songs, all of that is in this book, and colorful things. There are 52 poems in here, 10 illustrations, and 3 chapter quotes.
All right.
With that. But so page 3, you picked this. This is actually a promise that I made a friend. Her name was Stormy, aka Paula Blocker, who was very crucial in me being what I am today. And I promised her before she passed that I would put her in a book. Unfortunately, she didn't get to see that. So this is actually her book.
All right.
My books, poetry, spoken word, illustrations, performances, films, companies, clothing, and brands do not come from a happy place, but I will make the world beautiful with the rivers of tears they create. Shattered images. Let's begin. Peace. Looking in the mirror, I noticed a small imperfection. It was a crack that slowly got larger as I stared deeper into the perception of myself. I started to see an image of a face I once knew, riddled with tears and dark memories of people who tried to shatter me. The image began to contort and twist, causing me to look away as I feared what might be staring back at me. Before I could turn to run away, I heard a whisper out of the corner of the room. You are stronger than the image you see before you. I searched the room for another person, but there was none there. Only the image staring back at me, who is now smiling. I went to shatter the mirror and found out it was just a frame. In peace.
All right. And normally, whenever we finish, we would give some finger snaps. We don't applaud, we give some finger snaps. All right, let them know what it is. Before we close out, one of the things that I didn't do and wanted to say was just last week or Sunday was the 27th, let's get this right, was the 27th anniversary of the Million Man March.
Yep.
And 27 years ago, I was a young 32 years old. And I plus 30,000 others, 15,000 others from Northwest Ohio went to Washington, D.C., and we went there to atone, to reconcile and be responsible for our actions. We didn't go there to petition the government to say what you guys are going to do or what you better do. We know that we made mistakes, Victor. We know that we made mistakes, Jody. We know that we made mistakes, Omar. And we vowed to ourselves that we will make some changes. And all of us came back with a greater sense of self. Myself and other men that had went, we came back to improve ourselves spiritually, mentally, morally. We thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for making the call for 1 million men. Nearly 2 million of us showed up. Nearly 2 million of us showed up. And that will never be duplicated. I'm glad that we were able to go for 10, 10, 15, the 20-year anniversary of the Million March. So, so I wanted to just Let that be known. Hey, Jody, what we're going to do now is close out with our solidarity pledge. And also, we just mentioned the Million Man March, but the solidarity pledge, a lot of people heard that pledge at the Million Man March 27 years ago. So we took the pledge, made a couple of changes to fit what we do right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say I, and you say I, and just repeat after me. You ready, Brother Omar?
Yes, sir.
Jody?
Yep.
Hey, and I got some in studio. All right, that's what's up. Say I.
I,
Your name.
Jody,
Omar.
Pledge to strive.
pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I. Your name.
Omar.
J. Summers.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To improve myself.
To improve myself.
Spiritually. Mentally. Morally. And physically. For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family. And my people. I. Your name.
A child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process. And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I. Your name.
Spoken truth.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I could spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time. My strength. And energy. To achieve. The above said. All right, give yourselves a hand, brothers. You have definitely made it through the podcast. Jody, thank you, brother, for always being here, always coming through. Brother Omar, every week, if you can, if you could come in, give us an update on what we could do now to not only support the brothers and sisters that are coming out of the prison industrial complex, but also to give us a look at how we can support our brothers and sisters. They're still there. The brothers that I've served time with, they're still there. And this was a long time ago. They're still there. And Victor, man, listen, you have an open invitation. And if you don't mind, we're going to be requesting your presence on our podcast. Thank you so much. Hey,
congratulations on your win.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And did you see his hat?
Yes.
His hat
so
said,
I had to go get mine.
Yes, sir. So I'm the odd one out. All right, it's all good. Hey, family, like we always say, all lives can't matter until Black lives
matter.
And Black lives can't matter until all Black
lives matter.
Justice or else?
Yeah.
All
right, so